All right, GM guys, can you hear me on the Twitter space? Can I get a thumbs up, please, if you can hear me? And does it sound like I'm coming from the good mic? Turbo, I'm gonna bring you on up here. Here we go. I feel like our first couple minutes seems like we got to get this audio check stuff done every single day, which it is what it is. All right, so I'm getting some thumbs up. Hopefully, it is coming from the good mic. I did. All right, there we go. We are live on the YouTubes, the Twitch, and the Twitter. We changed it up. Again, I'm not going to live stream to Twitter onto my personal account anymore. We're going to send that one straight to the Web3 Breakfast account. It makes more sense. Plus, hopefully, it's not that confusion of running a space and a live stream to the same account. Maybe that was giving us some problems. Who knows? But hopefully, we got that shit figured out. GM, everybody, how we doing? Turbo, what's up, my dude?
Yo, what up, Jay? You're talking through your good mic, man. You lifted me up with your strong arm. I appreciate it.
Oh man, I love that. All right, so see how we got that stuff taken care of immediately today. I love that. GM, everybody, welcome to Web3 Breakfast. My name is Jay Chains. And we are going to have a fantastic show today. I want to talk about, again, community is a big focus. And yesterday we decided that today was bring a buddy to breakfast. So make sure that, if your buddy didn't come through, just send him a little reminder. It's also a great time to retweet out the room, let everybody know breakfast is served. Typically, we'll have waffles, pancakes, French toast, freedom toast. Let's just call that freedom toast. How about that? And then some coffee. And then I think someone had Klotchkes the other day, right? I think that was Seth from Mind Your Biz. He brought some Klotchkes. So you never know what people are going to pull up with for breakfast. So make sure that you invite a friend. Let's get through some house cleaning really quick while we wait for more people to fill in. Bitcoin, everything is up. Everything is green on the hourly. Everything is green on the daily right now here in the top 10. So that's good, with the exception of Dogecoin. Dogecoin is down 0.12%. 0.1%. That thing's moving. All right, so we're going to see some activity in the market stay a little bit. ETH, that's my favorite coin. I don't know about you guys, but that is my favorite because that's a lot of the NFTs that I'm buying right now. Yeah, I love Cardano. I am in Cardano. I love VeChain, VFam. What's up? I love that. But ETH is that's where I do a lot of my home. And so that being said, the ETH price coming in right now, 1656. We've got a couple good hourly candles. Let's switch this thing on over to the daily really quick. It gives us a better representation at a couple red days. So we're either due for a big time drop to get that thing ready to charge and pop up, or we'll sit in this chop zone for a little while. Anyway, we got that going on here with Ethereum. That brings us on over to our favorite site. And if you guys did miss it, it was not recorded. That we realized that when we were about 3/4 into the way to space last night for NFTgo.io. But I had a great time hanging out with Jared and a couple other folks here in the space at NFTgo.io. And I did get to, we talked about how we love the platform. It's so great, so easy to use. I did get to give my one gripe point where when we saw 51 on this market sentiment barometer the other day, I wanted that thing to say warm because we wanted to have a party. We want to have a party when this barometer says warm because then we know we're on the right track. Well, in all jokes, I did get to say, I really wish that thing said warm, but nonetheless, great platform to use for whether it's analytics, research, just as a resource. NFTgo.io, good friends with those guys over there. In the news, this headline, I think this is something worth taking a look at. This happened over with BA branded Top Shot Moments NFTs. They are probably going to be called securities. This was in that Dapper Labs case that the judge ruled that they, I think, just barely didn't escape the Howey test. So the really interesting, I would keep an eye on that because that kind of court precedent could change the landscape. So keep an eye on that for that kind of stuff. All right, that's enough of the news today. GM, everybody, how we doing? Turbo, Final, 7, Mine, Chris, KT, Rintintin, Josh, Kid, Vader, Cole, Carrie, Corey, and Phil. Good morning, everybody. I appreciate you guys being here. Hope you brought your friends because today's gonna be a fun show. Talk about community and talk about getting some getting people into this industry that maybe it was something that they were curious about, didn't know enough about, but we can find ways to bring them in with a soft invite, right? One of the cool things, this was a project I minted recently. If you guys are watching on the live stream, It's the Mutant Ape, or the Mutant Grape Wine Club, right? And what this is bought by a friend of mine, Richie Rich. He's also got Half Baked, and they do IP licensing for cannabis and now wine. And so by minting this NFT, it entitles me to 6 bottles of a Grand Cru red wine, dipped with this awesome green wax. And then I can choose to put my IP on there. So do I put my Coda on there, or do I put my Mutant on there? I don't know. I got to make that decision. Maybe, it'd be fun is to make that a community decision. And then one of those bottles, we can do some kind of community giveaway. And I will give away one of my 6 bottles to someone in the community. If we'll do like a fun thing, we got to determine if we want to put the Coda or the Mutant on it. And then we'll make a fun thing out of it. So we'll check into that.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Know, and I'm gonna tell you, Jay, I got a lot of big plans for you, bro. We were working last night, heavy on our IRL products and stuff. So I'm gonna tell you, man, that, making that change, bringing our friends in, having them come be a part of this and being a part of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? The reason, the value that it's so important for you to have your friends here is because we're always sharing ideas and motivation and just inspiration. You know what I mean? Like, shit, sometimes we need that just to get started, man. So I'm definitely digging the wine, Jay. But it's so funny, man. Like, we're so connected. Like, we're afraid of the same things. We both don't like to poop in public. You know the guy that started the project. I know the guy that's making the wine. I mean, it's just crazy. And when I think about that, man, he has like they have this this product that is that's like their patent product or whatever, that's like trademark or whatever. And like, he's been dying for me to find someone to like, to launch this. They're like mimosas, like basically like you just like, it's all in one bag. You just pop it and it's your entire like mixed drink. And so they have the patent for it. So, Dave, maybe we just need to go our own route.
Yeah. Or, that sounds like if it's a mimosa, that may be something we could branch off for Carrie. For Champagne Wise Club, that's something that she could offer her people. And if she didn't want to do that, absolutely. I thought this morning, and when I shot you a GM text this morning, Turbo, we'll share this with the community. I had said, what makes a lot of sense with Web3 Breakfast is if we had our own coffee brand, right?
The only thing about coffee is, Jay, because I've worked with some people that have white labeled some brands, as well as I worked with this company that they had like their own beans and stuff. The margin is not really good on coffee. Like, it's got to be kind of like a little bit more expensive. Yeah. I mean, unless you have like coffee connoisseurs who understand like that, like actually like smell the beans and then they grind the beans like by hand, and they got like, they got a French press and they're like pressing their coffee out. They would be for it, but like, it'd be pretty tough. Like, are you familiar with Death Wish coffee?
I am.
So a box of K-Packs with Death Wish is like $25 for like 12 or 8 of those cups. It's just way more expensive, man.
Interesting.
I'm definitely a connoisseur of coffee. I'm drinking some coffee right now. Have you seen Turbo? Well, you'll definitely see it here in Texas. So Black Rifle Coffee Company is literally building next door to every Starbucks around here.
Now, that one would be a little bit different because that's a veteran organization.
Yep, that their veteran organization ran by SF guy, and they now have a coffee, like a cold coffee, in the stores.
That's awesome. I like to see that brand grow and grow and grow. That coffee's good. I went to they have a location in Savannah.
Yeah, Black Rifle's good stuff if you've never had it. The other thing I love about what they're doing is that they're nailing it, like Bass Pros. Hitting it where their people are. Which is kind of relevant to what we're doing here, how to get your people to come in.
But you know why he did that? It's because a comment leaked out from Starbucks about them not supporting veterans. So he decided to build one right next door to every Starbucks.
Good for him.
I love that. I love passive aggressive moves like that. You know what I'm saying? I think Carmen brought it up yesterday. Oh, that might have been a secret of hers. I don't know if I was supposed to say, but she loved some good revenge. You know what I'm saying? And when you're able just to pull up next to somebody, give them a wave every morning. Good morning, Starbucks. Good morning. Like, there's nothing better than that.
It's that the revenge of success. I think that's what it makes it really important. Is your success is your revenge on someone who might not have either gave you the chance or fucked you over previously.
Well, and one thing that's even better than that, I think, is that not only is it the revenge factor, but every single person walking into that in there that isn't going to Starbucks, that's one more cup of coffee that Starbucks isn't making any money on, and it's one more reason that they pissed off a customer who made a different decision to go someplace else, right in front of their face.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, like I don't know what you guys think. Like I'm not a coffee connoisseur. I drink several cups of coffee every single day. And I love it. And I can, I can taste different beans and all that kind of stuff. So, but I wouldn't consider myself a connoisseur, but I would tell you unequivocally that Starbucks coffee is dog shit. It is garbage. What they win at is the experience. When you go there, you know what you're going to get. And that's why they win. Right. But their coffee is disgusting. In a blind taste test, I think McDonald's coffee is probably one of the best. I personally think Dunkin' Donuts probably has the best coffee just because it's got that donut taste in it. But I think Starbucks is trash coffee. It's usually burnt. It tastes like horseshit.
I agree.
This is the point that leads me into what I want to say from what Jay Chains just said. Starbucks was the kickoff of it was a kickoff of a competition, right? There's actually a Web3 coffee now. It's called Coffee Nova. So your brand is able to link up with them and get your logo put on their coffee cans. So the same thing with other institutions, corporations that come into the Web3. Think of it as almost like when we had the tech race, right? When one comes, their competition comes because their competition doesn't want to fall behind or get stifled on innovation. So that's what we're going to see in these next 24 to 36 months.
What's the name of that company? Because maybe that's the best route is if they're already a Web3 company and they will allow you just to throw your logo or your brand IP on something. Maybe that's what we do, and we partner with them versus doing our own.
Yeah, they had a huge space event yesterday. When I tagged you and I said, "Man, we're always in opposite events." They had a mega spaces event. They're just now starting distribution. It's a pretty cool concept. It's called Coffee Nova, and they hit us up as well. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how they develop across the Web3 space. I love the idea that projects can throw their logos on their cans. I start seeing people do that with the NFTs they own, but we're taking a different route. We're bringing something a lot bigger to the space, and J Chains and Turbo are going to be my first connoisseur taste testers.
Let's go.
Can't wait, baby. Can't wait. That's what I need in my life. I need the juice, baby. I need the juice. It's when we look at all of these things and we think about the ecosystem as a whole, you know what I mean? I look across this room. Obviously, J Chains tomorrow, we're going to need to do the show to bring your haters because we'll probably be able to fill the room up a little bit more. Because I see everybody brought their friends, saying I've got my boy Jeb just getting his phone back from his off the top of the fridge. So that's great that he was able to make it. I was worried they weren't going to be able to make it. I didn't know maybe he might not have got his chores done. But guys, today's all about bringing our friends, all about community. I'm saying how we have these conversations. It is the day of the week before the final day and we get to rest, man. What a freaking blessing, man. I'm so tired come Thursday, Fridays, man. Like I'm so tired. So having all y'all definitely energizes me up.
Absolutely, man. This is, as we talked about yesterday, it's just a great way to start the day. Like I feel, absolutely fantastic when we get off the show and you think about, because when I hop off, like there's usually a little period of reflection when I think about what do we talk about, how did it go, what ways could we make it better, and at the end of the day, I just appreciate y'all being here and watching this thing grow and develop into this amazing community of people who like for instance, we had someone come up yesterday and chat, and it was a smaller space in the afternoon. But, it was like one of the first couple times he got to talk in a space and he felt comfortable enough to do it. And that to me is like, that's an amazing win. And so, I appreciate every single one of you guys showing up and being here. This is what a great way to start the day on a positive note for me too, right? Like if you come here for a little daily dose of positivity, guess what? So am I. I just happened to hit start. That's all.
Damn, knockout. And with speaking of community, I see my guy KT up here. You know what I'm saying? He has the whole scribe and everything like that. Jay, he was the guy I was telling you about that's able to kind of track people around Twitter and and do really cool things for collections guys. So if that's something you might be interested, definitely tap in with KT because that is a super dope project, man. I'm always trying to I know we got to get on the phone, man. I really want to. I want to be able to involve it in kind of some ideas that I have that we're working on, because I want to see the community really be able to be rewarded. I had an opportunity to go to Final Space yesterday, a gaming space, man. It was dope, Jay. That space was so dope. It was like this space, but they were just talking about video games. I mean, same feeling, same vibe. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that I was asking about, is what do we do for the people that support us? We live in a society that everybody gets rewarded for being the number one guy, but what about the number two guy? You know what I'm saying? Your backup, the dude, the logisticians. You know what I'm saying? The important people in our communities, and sometimes that is our friends. You know what I'm saying? That's why, I wanted to bring people out today that we appreciated. I see my boy, a kid called Love down there. That's my dog. He's a community guy. Of course, Seven and Jeb. And of course, Jay Change, these are my real life homies. And final, now, I can't wait to get to Texas, man. I know we're going to have an amazing relationship just being vets and what we're going to do down there in Texas and, mind your business down there. And, just making this relationship with John, guys, this is such an amazing time to be, you know what I'm saying? So go out there and be more than, just someone who sits behind and is worried about everybody trying to, take advantage of you.
Absolutely. I'm going to throw up, this is a great time to kind of just reset the room really quick. Appreciate you, Turbo. I need to throw a couple tweets up in the nest. And so while I'm doing that, why don't you guys go ahead and hit that little purple oval down in the bottom right corner. Right now it says number 2 on it. Let's try to get that up a little bit. Tell a friend. Remember, this is Bring a Friend to Breakfast Day. So if you got some more friends here in the Web3 space, or maybe they're not into it yet, send them on in. Let them know what we're up to, what we're talking about, and how this community may or may not help you. Let's go. Let's grow. It's Web3 Breakfast, baby. And today's show is actually brought to you by Golden Baboons. We've been talking about these guys now for about a week or two. It is a Web2 focused mining and crypto, or excuse me, a mining and stock trading company club. They're dudes that just like to hang out, dudes and ladies that just like to hang out and trade stocks. And they are the Golden Baboons, but this is their splash now into the world of Web3. And so they are minting the 28th. This is just a couple days away. It's $50 a pop. I think we were talking about this yesterday. Depending on where ETH is going to settle, they're going to be about $50 a pop. So if you scoop 3 of them, you probably got a chance to either land the one that will be your forever baboon, because these things are cool. As soon as I get some posts up, you'll see some of the pictures of it. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I am looking for one of the zombie ones. I think the zombie is probably the coolest looking of these baboons. Mine, you better come up here and talk about it too, because I know you know about it. All right, I'm gonna throw some posts up here. Give me 1 second. Turbo.
Yeah, most definitely. Final, you had something good, bud?
I definitely filled out the allow list. I love the concept. It's exciting. Can't wait for it. I really don't dive into NFTs that much. I'm a real busy man, but I definitely want to support the project.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because when we've talked about this in a lot of shows, and I've heard about it in some other ones, right? What's the only way for us to actually get mass adoption, right? To have the true adoption of this technology is we need to bring more people into the space, and so fresh injection of people and capital is what Web3 needs, and this is one of those things that the Golden Baboons is doing.
And I love the gold. I love the gold.
You're not.
They got all their.
I was just going to do a line from Austin Powers where he's like, "You might not want to destroy the world, Mr. Powers, but I do."
But I do. No, actually, I love the whole gold part, man. Having the entire collection, backed by actual gold is super dope. I see Mind Your Biz has his hand up, so let's throw the mic over there. And good morning, Tess. Thank you for joining us. Final, I can't wait to tell you what this idea that I have with you and Tess. It's going to be amazing. Mine.
Hey guys, thanks for sharing the stage and thanks for calling me up. Jay Chains just got back from probably the crappiest leg day workout I've had in a while, and it's not because I did hard weights. It's because one of those days where it's like you don't have enough sleep, you don't have enough food, you don't have enough recovery, but you just do it anyway. You say let's grow. Those are the times when you grow. It's not when you're feeling perfectly rested. It's not when you're feeling totally up to it. It's actually when you're feeling weakened. It's when you feel like you can't do it, but you have the support of your community, you have the support of your friends. Saw friendly faces at the gym that made it possible for me. And, and that's what it's like here on Web3 Breakfast. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you putting in the work and being that supportive community every day. So, and again, appreciate the invite coming up, the challenge, right? Like, here's the thing, got to rise to the challenge, just like a shitty leg day in the gym. Sometimes you got to just like grind it, got to grind through it, right? So, one of those mornings though, where I, despite feeling a little bit, like not perfect, Golden Bedrooms is those projects that helps also part of that community that helps be that smiling face to me. Like you were saying, those fundamentals are pretty strong. They're really strong. It's very rare that you have an established company that has a business purpose already, legacy investors that know what they're doing in their lane, right? They've got like this sort of we'll go to the fundamentals, right? If you're working with a business that has more than 5 years on the books of successful, profitable operation, like they're not going anywhere. They have made the beginner mistakes that would end their business. They're doing really well. And for them to intentionally go into Web3, very bullish indeed. The fact that they've got millions of dollars in gold in the ground at their current location that feeds into the lore of the Golden Baboons. Like if you know anything about the Golden Baboons project, the Golden Baboons themselves, like close your eyes and imagine with me, if you will. The Golden Baboons live in a place called Tequila Falls, and that has to do with the physical location of the gold mine that Asia Broadband, the company that's sponsoring this project, that's doing this project, that has to do with the location where their current gold mine is. They've got millions of dollars worth of gold at that location still waiting to be mined. But the amount of gold that backs this NFT project is already, of course, been mined, and it's already been set aside. So it's kind of cool how it's not just some of the fundamentals, but also how some of the lore goes into it as well. It's got really great artwork too. Like you were saying, Jay Chains, they've got phenomenal designs from the zombies, all the other little metas and traits that they have. There was a DGen video they just put out last night. I don't know if I can share it here, but maybe, possibly, I think, if we get enough reacts and enough retweets on Web3 Breakfast this morning, Jay Chains, should we do it to them? Should we debut that new sizzle reel to show off all the new mocks, all the new art?
Oh man, I think yeah, come on, Web3 Breakfast. We got to make sure that we respond to this because I want to see it. I haven't even seen this shit.
Do it.
Yeah, I know you have. I know nobody has.
Throw it in the jumbotron. What are we waiting for?
Well, we need
People already know.
Peer pressure. Do it.
All right, we gotta get some more people in here to make that happen, right? Like what kind of numbers are you looking for, Seth?
Big facts. So let's take a look at that. Take a look at the purple right now. We got 11 retweets, 2 quotes, 15 likes. Those are rookie numbers.
Rookie.
We can do better, right? Rookie numbers. We got to double those numbers, right? I think
We'll pump those numbers up.
Exactly, bro. Let's start with double. All right, that's what pump those numbers up looks like for me. I'm all about smart goals. Right? It's got to be specific, measurable, and time bound. Right.
Well, our Texas, then we ain't.
So here's the plan. So everybody, we got to get more people in here, and the whole point here is bringing a buddy. So do us a favor, and instead of just retweeting and just saying, "Hey, come join the space," tag 3 people that you don't see in spaces that are on your follow list that you follow, listen to. Tag people that you see active right now that are posting or tweeting right now. Tag them so that they see it in their feed because they're looking at their phone right now. Tag them in your retweet. Do a quote tweet for the space. Get them in here. Say, "Hey, I got this awesome show." Don't tag people you see in spaces all the time. Get some new folks in here, some new blood.
Can you guys hear this?
The music, yeah.
All right.
Couldn't at first, but now we can.
Let's pump it up, man. Let's get pumped. Thursday morning, 10:30 on the East Coast. Let's get those retweets going, baby. All right, all right, all right. That song that to me is the definition of a bull market in crypto.
Dude, I was just getting started.
Yeah, bro. When you hear that song everywhere, you know money's being made.
It's like when a song comes on in the club and you start bobbing your head, and next thing you know, you're like sliding on the dance floor, show everybody your moves from the 70s.
Gentlemen, line them up. Soul lines, let's go. Line them up.
If you don't dance like that, we're not your friends. Okay, it's that simple.
You got to.
No, I did, Jay, have a, I was reading through, Warren Buffett in a Web3 world by our good friend Matthew down there. And there was a quote that I had marked, and this is a perfect place for this little quote from the book. This is page 118. It says, "For investors as a whole, returns decrease as motion increases." I love that. And at the end of the day, right? Like we are the ones who are in control of this entire train. We're doing it. So hit that retweet. Let's get some baboon stuff going, man. We have a great space here. We got final. We had an amazing meeting yesterday, and I think that I think one of the places that we might be missing. We've been making some connections between video and like the YouTube thing, but man, what about just like full on just programming all day, every day? What do you think, Jay?
I'm sorry. So here's the deal. This is a first for me. My wife is taking her friend to the airport right now, and my daughter is in the family room watching Miss Rachel, and I heard her yelling. She may be singing. So I pulled my headphones off for a second, and so Turbo, I put them on right as you asked me that. So I don't even know
Ask you the
what.
question.
Yeah.
Yep, no worries. No, I was saying, just about programming, right? Like, getting out of just YouTube, getting out of social media, pulling that together, and how powerful that would be in the Web3 space.
Hey, Jay Chains, we got a special guest in the audience, and this is what I was talking about these relationships. We got a Love Honcho, professional football player down there. He's my brother from another mother, and he's doing a great job with helping people around the world. And again, bringing those pro athletes in. We're like-minded, baby.
Absolutely, man. And I think that, because most pro athletes have been given an opportunity not only to showcase their skills, but to use the platform for good. And I love that when you hear those stories where someone is using their platform for good. So good on you. Love, you got my follow, that's for sure.
And it helps because of the NIL, right? If anyone doesn't know what the NIL is, it's the name, imaging, likeness. And so back when I was in college, when you sign that scholarship, you're literally signing away your media rights. So, me being on the side of a bus and on posters and on programs, you don't make any money off of that, right? The football players who were in NCAA football, they weren't making any money off of that. And so there's images today, and you've all heard of Getty Images. You've probably looked at an image and it said Getty across of it. I don't own my own images. And so NIL gave athletes an opportunity to monetize themselves because they were just completely owned by their team, by their league, by the image company that had a contract with their league or team. And, it was kind of really rough, right? We were used to make money that we never saw a return on.
Man, and you know what? And I missed that too. The college football games. I wish they'd bring that back. Speaking of name and likeness, as you were talking, I talked about, because I imagine you're probably part of some of them games back in the day. And it just sucks to see that people are getting taken advantage of. But that's the blockchain, right? Like the blockchain is going to take care of so much of that. Is that something that he's working on, Final? That he's working directly with?
Yeah, so he's Hunter's doing a lot of things. He is helping with financial literacy, because he grew up in a rough place like I did, and these kids aren't taught how to manage money, and you see it in rapping as well, right? It's almost like that hood rich concept, and they get all this money, but they've never been shown how to manage it. They've never been shown what to do with it. And so it was the same with athletes, and it's a big difference, right? Because you we weren't allowed to earn. So if you have someone who came from a rough place and their family didn't have the ability to help them out, they were maybe surviving off of ramen and nobody knew it, right? You got this athlete doing great things, but when they get home, they're eating ramen noodles. And you have this athlete that maybe come from a well-off background, and they're out eating steak and got a Porsche to drive into school and everything, but people didn't know this. And so he's helping athletes with financial literacy, but also giving back to communities around the world. I think he's playing football in Europe, but I think he's on break right now down in Miami.
Man, me and that dude were following each other, and I'm like kind of curious of where we met.
Probably Miami. One of the conventions, maybe.
That would make sense.
I don't know. We've been in spaces so long now, J Change. It goes in waves of the people we meet across the space in different communities and stuff. It's kind of crazy. Like I won't see people for 6 months, and then there they'll be.
Yeah, it's such a cool space for that kind of thing where you literally can just connect, and build your network, build your community, all that stuff. Mike, you had your hand up. What's up?
Yeah, I just want to kind of comment on what he was saying about these folks from the Black community that wind up getting they pay millions and they don't know what to do with themselves. They wind up wrecking their car or because they're drunk driving, they don't know what to do with the money. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of them need a chaperone. You know what I mean? That's what I think they should do, especially in those kind of situations, and someone to help them with their money too. You know what I mean? Because half the time, even if it happened to me, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I'd probably be doing stupid shit too. So it's always good to have that naysayer that helps you to try to help make the right choices and the right decisions, so you don't fall into that scenario of, oh well, you spend all your money or you only eat ramen, or you know what I mean? That kind of scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the first things that you could do, and especially these are things that people in this space have to think about, is what if you come into sudden wealth? Like millionaires are made overnight, especially in bull markets. If you don't know what to do with that, you could wreck yourself. I mean, it's like with the lottery. Most of the time, if you win the lottery within a couple of years, you're in a worse position than when you started. You know what I mean? And so I think, if there's like a chance for, maybe that's part of the education where, you've got to, and that's kind of like a weird thing to start advocating for, is sudden wealth syndrome. But like people got to learn, like, listen, if you wake up and your portfolio says that you got like $2-3 million in there, like, what are you going to do? First off, you got to make sure you save some of that shit, pull some profits, but you got to figure out what are you going to do and how are you going to move that forward?
Like spending 10,000 Bitcoins on a Papa John's pizza.
Yeah. Oh man. But for real though, you know what I mean? Like these are things that, if you are in this industry and you are actively trading or you're flipping NFTs, like at some point, like you might get yourself into a position where you're like, all right, that's a lot of money. Now what? And don't just go piss it out, on cars and houses and women and drugs or whatever. KT, you had your hand up first, and then Seth.
Yeah, just back to the athletes and what they were how they were getting taken advantage of. I used to run collegiate track back in the day, and being a non-scholarship sport for most of us, you had what you brought with you. So you could have Roger Kingdom level athletes or Carl Lewis level athletes, but they came from no money. So they're Olympic level people running on high school shoes that are busted up, held up together with duct tape because there's no money, because we weren't allowed to make any money on anything that we did. And then you have these people who came from money, but they had no talent and they were wearing the best, the fanciest, the sleekest, the coolest, the fastest. And they were the ones that were winning the meets, or at least competing in the meets, because they at least had the gear. And bringing that to light and helping all these young athletes who, you know, it doesn't matter who they are, but where they came from. You know, money doesn't know color. Money doesn't know race. Money doesn't know anything. Money just knows money. You either have it or you don't. And helping these folks who didn't have it, giving them the opportunity to have what they need to succeed, giving them the tools to do their trade of sport is massive. And I think that the move to enable that is going to completely change the landscape of who these athletes are. We're going to see a whole new level of athleticism from people who previously couldn't get in there because they didn't have the funds to get there. And now they will, because they're that good and people want to put their brand on the fastest or the best, the hardest hitting, the highest jumping, whatever it is. So I think it's a phenomenal thing what they're trying to do with this and bring that to light.
Absolutely agree. I couldn't agree with you more. Seth, what's up, my man?
Yo, mind your biz. You got your hand up, family.
Yeah, no, on the topic of just like sudden wealth syndrome, it is an issue. I know it's a weird thing to talk about in a bear market. Like, I know Jay Chains gave that disclaimer as well, but those are the facts. The fact, I mean, anybody who's in the space right now, putting in the work right now, and who actually understands value creation is going to, after that grind, is going to come into some degree of, you know, better financials. Even just hodling and anything that you have in your portfolio right now, that's an uncontroversial thing to say. When markets improve, the value of a lot of those assets are going to go up, and it'll seem like sudden wealth compared to any other market. I mean, equities, commodities, real estate, everybody else, they don't like to admit it, but they look on in crypto and NFTs with envy, because you're not going to double your money in the real estate market within a weekend or within 3 weeks or within a month. That just doesn't happen. Historically, that has never happened. That's not how those markets work. It's not how any of this works, right? And so, like, for us though, it will look parabolic. When that happens, it will look like, oh my gosh, that happened in under 90 days, your portfolio doubled. That's impossible. Like, I don't believe it. That's not real. That's funny money. It's all fake. You deal with frauds, man. There's some people that I know who do government contracting, and they like their whole thing is, oh yeah, you know, I've got this clearance and that clearance, and I get to work on, because I'm a hardware guy, right? Like an IT hardware guy. I was bragging about how, like, oh yeah, I'm working on this thing and it requires a clearance, and I'm like, that's cool, man, but you're gonna work a job for the rest of your life. It's a nice job, cushy job, right? Great government contracting job, great, good for you. I'm happy for you and your family. That's phenomenal stuff. But you'll never have the intestinal fortitude to do what we do here. That said, like Jay Chains said, you can still get wrecked, be in a worse position after we go through that euphoric high and see those parabolic run-ups, because we get that gambler mindset of like, well, I'm gonna let it ride and let it ride and let it ride. We don't really educate ourselves on how value is created and how wealth is held. But I want to go deeper than that and say, like, understanding how value is generated and how people value things. Like, that's something that crypto doesn't really teach us, right? Like, success is a very poor teacher, failure is an okay teacher, but knowing how to, like, I mean, it sounds really old school, but man, maybe the boomers had it right. Like, knowing the value of a dollar, like knowing how much sweat it takes to get something, and knowing like what people actually value in exchange for that sweat. Like, how much sweat do you need to get it, you know, to give me $1? How much sweat do you need to give me a Satoshi? How much sweat do you need? And am I sweating on the right things? Or am I like way hyper-focused on something that just doesn't matter at all, right? Like, the devil's in the details there. And it's just true of collections too, right? NFT collections and cryptos too. You can see something that you would think like, nah, man, strong fundamentals. Why isn't it performing? And there's some X factor that you just haven't figured out. And that's where value is created. And I think that there's a lot of folks coming out of sports who learn that the hard way too. Like, I want to see some reacts here, guys. I want to see some emojis. How many of you who have driven past a car dealership or a laundromat or some like basic ass business that has an athlete's name on it? Any basic ass business that you're like, oh my gosh, Like, okay, I guess I want to buy a car from that. I mean, like I know your stats from when you were playing, but I guess I want to buy a car from you too. But like what they figured out the hard way after that full career in sports was that they had to go acquire a brand new skill set of value creation. What does the market actually want? Not what it needs. You might think it needs something, and you're going to chase that white rabbit all the way off a cliff, right, financially. But what it actually wants, what it'll actually pay for, the value of a dollar. How do people value what you bring to the market? And a lot of those athletes realize, like, oh shit, my name is really good at bringing people into a sales funnel to get their basic necessities. And that gives me cash flow. So I don't have to worry about being a genius in my investments. But you know, NFTs, like we've got ways to make sure we continue with our cash flow. I just wanted to bring it down to value creation, understanding value creation. That's what I had.
That was spot on, bro. And it's a thing. And I'll put the transparency out there because a lot of people don't know how political the NCAA was. You could go pro in one sport, but come back to the NCAA and play a different sport. If you didn't know this, look at Chris Winkie when he played for Florida State. He went pro in baseball, came back at 28 years old to finish playing quarterback for Florida State. Look at Jeff Shamarja from Notre Dame. He went off and played pro baseball and then came back and finished football. However, if Jay Chains is in track and field and the local car dealership wants to, give him a car just to have some wheels to drive around because they know he doesn't have that kind of money from his family, he just violated the NCAA policy and loses his right to play the sport altogether. And so to me, it was about passing it forward. I get it. I had a really big name, but I wasn't stingy about it because I understood the struggle from some of the athletes. I remember one athlete coming up and he was asking for some new tights and a new pair of spikes. And they told him, it was like, well, you haven't earned a new set yet. I walk up and they're like, hey, what do you need? Just tell us what you need. You can get it. So I asked for some extra stuff just to give it to him. And I'm sure I'd be struck down if they knew I was doing this, but I didn't care. I wanted to see everybody have something.
That's powerful, man. Go ahead, Turbo.
I was gonna say, man, that power, you know what I mean? Like, I was in that same boat, in Afghanistan. We were fighting with the Norwegians because I was a part of NATO, and they could get anything but like necessity equipment, like gloves, iPro, things like that, So we would always, I would just order some extra for them, and just that little bit of extra, like, and giving it to my neighbor, like, it made such a difference, man. Like, they had our backs, we had their backs. And in some of the craziest times, man, they like really pulled through, and it wasn't like we didn't do it for that, right? It's just that, because we had the opportunity to do it, we should, you know what I'm saying? And, like, I like posting that shit on social media. I'm going to take us on a little tangent here. I like seeing videos where people go up and do nice things for other people, you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people get like super upset about that, you know what I mean? But I like to watch that, you know what I mean? I wish you'd get more upset when, you see people trying to hit each other, with fire extinguishers or something, instead of, people trying to do something nice for each other. So, do something nice for someone today. I love that.
When did we get to, when you say that, like that last little thing that you said there got me to the point where, like, when did we get to the society where if we saw something like bad happening to somebody, our initial reaction is to pull out our phone and capture it versus helping? Like, when did that happen?
Bro,
That's not new. That's not new, unfortunately. People are just messed up in the head. Sorry to just jump in like that. Box, you was that boxed or was that filled? It came off mute, but like, I'm just saying, man, like, people can be really messed up. Not everybody is, right? I think that everybody's fundamentally good. If you look for it, if you try to find it, if you give them the benefit of the doubt, a lot of people are very, very good in their core being, in their core essence. But man, can people be petty when you don't get to that we don't drive to that point, or just like, or look them dead in the eye and be like, hey, I refuse to see all the other bullshit, like to see the human, right? And you'll draw it out of them, right? Dogs are really good at that, Animals are really good at that. Dogs and horses especially, really good at just like looking you in the eye and being like, yeah, I see you. And then they just move on, right? Like, okay, got it. We can all be good to each other now. But yeah, humans, we get petty. And there was I'm forgetting the exact date. This I think was early 70s, maybe even late 60s. The case of this lady that was straight up stabbed in broad daylight in New York, with people like a packed, basically a packed audience, right? Packed house, just right on the sidewalk. And I don't want to go like too deep down that rabbit hole, but you're saying like, when did we get into that mode? Unfortunately, people can be that petty if we don't just like put in the effort to keep our eyes open, head on a swivel, and just choose the way that like, dogs and horses do it. Just like see people for their good essence, and try to drive at that in as many interactions as we can. And if we don't get that from somebody, to just like, give them the space they need, right? Nature gives venomous creatures, right, red and yellow, give them like danger signs. Unfortunately, with humans, that's kind of all we get, is a one quick peek into their soul through the eyes, and that's all the warning we get. But we can be petty,
It's existed for a while. It's just social media and smartphones are just now able to capture it. And for a while, if you look at Facebook, you could only have it if you were actually enrolled at college. You had to use your college email address. And so social media only knew what was happening on college campuses. Next thing you know, here's the iPhone, and here's the Galaxy, and here's YouTube, and then stuff started getting out. And then the other platforms as well, whether it was MySpace or TikTok. And these things were already happening. People were already standing by and looking at someone get hurt or something burn down or something explode, whatever it may be. And they just didn't help. They were there almost like getting some weird, dark, euphoric experience out of watching something happen to someone else. It's the same thing with law enforcement. The bad apples have always existed. It's just they weren't getting caught until smartphones became a thing or body cams became a thing.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Most definitely. And I know, KT, you got your hand up, fam, as well. We want to get your opinion on this too.
Yeah, so I think this goes way, way, way beyond social media and phones. So back when I was a kid, this is going back a bit. I'm a little bit older. We were taught to stand up for each other. So you see somebody coming up, you see a bully, you go help out your friend who's being bullied. And sometime in the educational process, it shifted from stand up for your friend to go tell somebody. And I think that right there, that societal shift to don't stand up for your friend yourself, go find someone else to help you, is where that began. Because now you have generations of people who have been taught since kindergarten not to get involved, not to make it your problem, to call somebody instead of helping with the problem right at hand, right in front of you. And I think it's a huge societal mistake, because what happens is the bullies get to run rampant. And now with social media and everybody having a phone, they also get their 15 seconds of fame, because they get their face on a viral video of doing something really stupid, really bad. I think it all goes back to just a societal shift to try to be a kinder, gentler nation, instead of Jordan Peterson says it best, be a dangerous human. That doesn't mean be dangerous, but have the capacity for doing dangerous things, but being smart enough and wise enough to be in control of it at all times. So that if something does happen, someone does come up and starts messing with your kids, messing with your girlfriend, messing with your buddies at the bar, doesn't matter. You can stand up and say, hey, knock that off and solve the problem, instead of calling somebody. Meanwhile, while you're waiting for somebody to come in, that friend or that kid is just getting beat up or worse. This is an old problem.
KT, man, you definitely hit on it. That's a really great point, because I was thinking, I remember as a kid, my mom would always tell me, if someone hits you, you defend yourself, if, you stand up for yourself. And then it kind of changed, like we don't hit anymore. And I think that, I think where kind of a lot of the problem kind of stems from in that is that, we should do better at not being physical with each other, right? Like there's not really like too many reasons why we should be putting our hands on each other. When we have verbal communication skills, And so I think that the message just really kind of got lost in that whole situation where it's like, you know, we need to be able to communicate and talk through our issues, you know what I mean? But if it gets to that point, you know what I'm saying, then, you know, you should still be able to catch these hands within reason. But I don't know, Phil, what you think?
The subject is so interesting because there are so many layers in there, right? Where back to taking your cell phone and just not helping someone, that speaks volumes in terms of how much we've lost connection while being connected through socials, to whatever, right? I think that, you know, Web3 brings this whole hope for me, because I always tackle this very nail where I say that at the very beginning of something new, something big, people always rally up, right? It was the same thing back then, you know, with Facebook and all, you know, people rallied on, and in all this mutuality came where, you know, it's all fun and we're all having a blast and it's good. And that's what hope, that's what it brings. And I think that that's what communities right now, you know, are doing, especially right now in Web3. At least, you know, it gives us a measure of hope, you know, that we can reconnect to each other, at least with the things that truly matters, right? Because, you know, you just want to help each other out and better ourselves down the road. That's what truly matters, man. So, but yeah, we definitely lost the connection that we had to one another, because there's a limit to the people you want, and you can't actually be connected with, you know, at one point. You cannot be connected at 200 people at the very same time. That's impossible. There's a limit to this. And I think that just going back to your neighbor, man, and just say, hey, what's up? You know, a good and heartfelt, you know, what's up? How you doing? How was your day? Man, that's the basics, man. That's what I found back inside this ecosystem right here, right now. And of course, back to the Barboons and up to all the projects that I'm in, you know. I mean, this is a nice community, and right here, right now is a good example too. I mean, I gravitate towards that, and for me, that's what it is, man.
That's awesome, Phil.
No,
I appreciate you being here, man.
Good.
You know, it is cool to have the community come together, and that's one thing that, you know, you'll hear. You know, I'll say it. Turbo will say it. You know, it's usually in I would say most times it's kind of in the closeout of the show where that's like the call to action is just reach out to somebody, say what's up. Especially, you know, we were talking about, this was basically how I ended, you know, my little time last night on the NFT Go shot, the NFTgo.io space was about to that same effect, right? Like, just reach out and say something to somebody right now. You don't know what everybody's going through. You know, something, you know, we were talking about a little bit ago about crypto, you know, at some point, like, you know, when you get to, you know, your portfolio is at the point when you're like, holy shit, this is my rule now, right? I learned this last year. This is my rule. When you screenshot your portfolio, that's when it's time to sell, right? Because then if you're hyped about that, just sell. Don't get greedy. But, you know, with that being said, you know, we're in this extended build market, and so you don't know what other people are going through. You don't know how many commas they saw last year and how they're feeling right now. So at the end of the day, just all you gotta do is reach out to somebody, say hi, tell them you love them, you're thinking about them, hit them with a GM in the morning, hit them in a DM. It doesn't matter. Just say hi to somebody. Tell them that you're thinking about them, and I guarantee you, if they were down, it'll help them get up, and then maybe they will do that for someone else. And that's how, you know, we turn this whole ecosystem around, and everybody's positive.
The future is looking bright, Jay. The future is looking bright. You know, and this conversation, man. I love these conversations, the way that they just kind of morph and move into these things, because it's absolutely crazy, man. We started off by bringing your friend, you know, to the space, to ending it out with, like, you know, stand up for yourself. Don't be a bully. Try to use your words, but if you need to, hey, sometimes, you know, you got to stand up for yourself. And here we are, you know.
Hey, I brought a very special friend in the room. I know we'll be wrapping up soon, but Tim Cook down in the audience, my man, he's doing big things for financial literacy and Web3. He's doing big things helping youth athletes and pro athletes understand Web3, NFTs, cryptocurrency, and how to manage them. And I am looking forward to him representing the XFL and scoring some touchdowns while I put him on my books.
Let's go. GM Tim, thank you for popping in and listening, hanging out, and doing what you do here in Web3. I mean, I think the more people we could teach about that financial literacy, especially about NFTs and crypto, because that's going to change the game for so many people. We know it's the fourth industrial revolution. It's the largest transformation of wealth in the history of humankind. So the more people we can get on board and train them the right way and teach them the ins and the outs and what they need to do, you know, Seth is a fantastic leader as far as protection goes, being safe and secure with your assets. I mean, he's always a resource. I think like collectively in this community, we've got just about everything covered, and it just excites me every single day to see the community grow and to hear more people, more opinions, more thoughts, more perspectives. I mean, this is how we become absolutely, I think a force to be reckoned with. So appreciate Tim. Thanks for being here, man, and thanks for doing what you do. Final Ardo, thank you for bringing in some quality friends. I think the call to action today was bring a friend today, and you guys responded, and I appreciate that. I think that was dope. I want to do this more often. We can start theming things out a little bit more so people know what to expect. But mind your biz. You got your hand up. What's up?
Hey, I just wanted to also just acknowledge that sometimes, we did that call to action early on, like, hey, tag 3 people, or tag and bring in some more friends. And it's important, right, for us to grab as many hands as we can. Sometimes what's most important, like some days you got to run with 1 instead of drag 1,000, right? Instead of drag 500 or whatever it is. And sometimes that person you run with is quality, right? So I mean, I personally, I saw a bunch of quality people join the room. I saw finally, you mentioned you brought Tim into the space, and you're bringing quality people who will help and be that net credit to the ecosystem and to the community. So hey, J-Chains, if you check your DMs on Signal, you might have some very rare art and sneak previews of some things, because I think the quality of the room improved when we asked for people to share with other people.
Ask and you shall receive. All right, let me give me a second then to do what I got to do. But hey, you guys, we responded well. We put you up to the challenge. Now we get to see a preview of a video. So give me a second, Turbo, to get this thing loaded up into a tweet, and then we'll get it posted up to the nest, and then we'll take it away for the day. But we'll just end the show is what I mean. We're not going to take the post down.
Morning.
Jim.
All right, guys, I'm just on the road right now, so but I wanted to say what's up to my Web3 Breakfast fam. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope you're getting your eggs, your biscuits, you know what I'm saying? Turkey, bacon, no pork for me. But I hope y'all having a good breakfast, man. It's a great conversation. I think it's an amazing concept to bring the bud. You know what I'm saying? That's how we build a space out. So shout out to J-Change, Fully Fox, Turbo, man. Mind your goddamn business. Jeb, 74K, Carmen. How you doing, Carmen? You know what I'm saying? KT, the fam. You already know what time it is. Man. On the Frontier, what's up? Yeah, I thought I followed you on Frontier. Fucking Twitter, man. It's crazy.
Hey, somebody give AI Love a beat. Let's go. I want to hear that car rap. Hear that car rap right now.
Now, hopefully, to get AI Love rapping, he's got to be in the right mindset. And I hope he wouldn't be driving in that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like rolling around up there. I do have some dope videos, you know what I'm saying, of a kid called Love, you know what I'm saying, ripping it up, on the microphone, man, just giving it hell. Some of the greatest times in my life, man, is hanging with these guys in real life. I get such a power, man, when we come together, you know what I'm saying? Me and Jay Chains, we met in Nashville a couple weeks ago, linked up with Sammy and stuff, and it's just so dope when you come together, you know what I mean? Like I was in a bar full of people, felt completely out of place, you know what I'm saying? Felt like a weirdo, and it might have been because I was drinking water and then looking suspiciously at the door at the back of the bar. It could have been that, but as soon as Jay came, man, look, I was ready to go. We got some great things coming up this weekend. For those of you who are heading out to ETH Denver, you know what I'm saying, have a great time, you know what I'm saying, make those connections. If you're not heading out there and you're like, damn, I'm close, tap in, you know what I'm saying? Like if you can drive it, it's worth the drive, you know what I'm saying? If it's within 3 hours of me driving there, I'm definitely going to be there because that's a reasonable limit. So know your limits, you know what I'm saying? And make that, because if you don't do that, what'll happen is you'll start making excuses of why you can't do it and, why you just don't have time or whatever that is, you know what I'm saying? So set it up, you know what I'm saying? Set your parameters and stick to them. That's so I heard someone, I don't know if Final said it or somewhere, but it was they were saying instead of focusing on your diet, just focus on being disciplined. Yeah.
I love that, man.
Hey, Can I say a little rap here real quick for you, J Chains? I made a little rap
Yes.
for your space today.
Of course. I love it.
Okay, check me out, dog. Yo, it's Thursday morning. The space is not boring. GM, I like to say to all my friends. Charts are going green. Let's feed the machine. You know what I mean. It's time to get them green backs like an attack. The golden baboons will make you check your wallet every hour for them gains before you hit the shower. All right. There you go. That's what I got.
Hell yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. Oh, what was that? What was that? Was that the final golden baboon squeak of the day? Yes, it was. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for Web3 Breakfast today. As always, I appreciate you. If you came up and listened, if you came up and chat, if you just decided, today was not the day, we'll get you one of these days to come up here and hang out and chit chat with us and share your opinions. But remember, we are here Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. This is Web3 Breakfast. To fully turbo, mine, KT, Mike, Final, Kid, Jeb, Degen, Seven, Carmen. I know you were up here. And everybody else, appreciate you guys. We can't do it without you. So we got a bunch of other things. This is Thursday. I got to take a look at my calendar. I don't even know what is going on the rest of the day. I think we got a couple meetings. We got an OG Ape Space with the grannies later today. Fully, is that at noon your time?
Absolutely 3 your time, baby.
That's right. And then I think tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific or 7 p.m. Eastern is the Meme NFT Space. Is that correct? Or is that?
That is correct, sir. And you are not going to want to miss that, everybody. We are 20 to 30 days out from launching the Meme NFT platform. Please put your notifications on.
Put those noties on.
Hey, J Chains, I got a question. Did you grab any of those free mints that we launched out yesterday? We minted out yesterday. Were you able to get any?
I did not. I think you sent.
No.
I know. I'll there'll be some secondary stuff. I'll get some.
Yeah, no, the secondaries are doing good. People are slowly sweeping it. We're at like a 0.005 right now.
Sweet. I'll scoop up a couple.
Hell yeah.
Love it. Also, guys, don't forget tomorrow, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, When Media. This is we're coming out swinging party. This is our first mega space, 9 p.m. Eastern. We have got projects, we've got platforms, we got so many friends and guests coming up there. It is going to be dope, so don't make sure that you don't miss that. I have put out a link. I know that we'll send them periodically throughout the day with some of the guests and partners we're going to be working with on the space, so don't miss that. Make sure you put that on your calendar. Guys, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more Web3 Breakfast. Adios.
Later.